Coming up, just as has happened most of the year, self inflicted wounds are what kept the Magic from accomplishing their goal of reaching the second round. We'll go over Game Five's box scores, hand out some grades, and do a quick preview on Game Six. This is the Orlando Magic Nation, your source for all things Orlando Magic on YouTube. For Magic fans, by a Magic fan. I'm Edwin Valentine, and I want to thank you very much for clicking on this video and spending a little bit of time talking Magic with me. Got to do the normal YouTube things like share, drop a comment below, and if you want to do so, hit that subscribe so you don't miss out on any content that I produce. If you're an audio podcast listener, make sure to rate the show 5 stars and send it to someone because it really helps the show grow by getting to more people. All right, let's get started. Now, game five, in a lot of ways, we can be proud of the Magic team. We basically knew that Franz wasn't going to play, and he's likely not going to play the rest of the series. So maybe we should just mentally prepare ourselves for that. From my understanding, he's already been ruled out for game six as well. So we have to do it without him. We'll have to pick him up and get to the second round without him. And then hopefully he's going to be able to make a recovery and be able to be with us for the second round if the Magic get to the second round. Now, their first opportunity to get to the second round in game five, they did a lot of really good things. And then, of course, a few things that have kept them back at different points in the season. They missed a whole bunch of free throws. Now, it ended up being about a 7 point loss. So if you look at the free throws are what really kept them back from it being a closer game throughout the game, because for a long period it was basically a 10 point lead, a 11 point lead, a 9 point lead for quite a long period of time. And the Magic at a couple times during the game were right there, maybe 2 points down. They just were never really able to get that hump to really put the pressure on the Detroit team so that they could maybe start to get really nervous. Like, damn, we've done all this stuff and we're now losing in this game in the third quarter. So that was a little unfortunate that we just couldn't hit that shot or get to the free throw line and make our free throws enough to be able to start to gain the lead. Even if it was a 1 point lead, a 2 point lead, that starts to get the other team pressing because they realize that this is their last game of the season. And maybe that could have been a catalyst for the Magic to still be able to squeak out a victory. That wasn't the case, unfortunately. They couldn't hit that shot to get over the hump, and they ended up getting behind a little too far. Now, offensively, the Magic did okay. Obviously, without Franz, it's going to be a little bit more of an uphill climb. We needed guys to step up, and AB stepped up. So that's something that was a very big positive from this game. That even if, okay, we lost the game, there was a lot that held us back from winning the game. Like I said, the turnovers, which again, the Magic didn't do too poorly on the turnovers. It's just the timeliness of the turnovers, and they didn't have the margin of victory when it comes to the turnover battle as they have had most of the series so far. So that obviously is something that they didn't go crazy. They didn't turn the ball over 20 times, was what was able to keep them in the game. It was just timely turnovers and when they happened, and a lot of them were just unforced, right? There was a couple that it was just dribbling errors, which has happened a lot throughout the season, but not so much in this series. So if we can clean that up, if we can hit the free throws, and we're going to have the home crowd, I think that's going to really be a flip in that, because really Detroit didn't do anything in this game that was like a tactical mastery or anything in any way. They started the same guys they've started this whole time. They brought everybody off the bench the same way. There was really no adjustment. So that right there, I think, is a good sign for the Magic, that it's not like, oh, they had this, card in their sleeve that they were going to really be able to pull out. I thought they might not start Duncan Robinson and bring in someone else, but no, they stuck with their guns, and they continued to have Duncan Robinson. Now, I don't know if the Magic were hunting him as forcefully as they could have. Now, that really is the one good advantage of the offense the Magic run, by it being a read and react and not really running plays necessarily, is that we're not locked into a certain style of offense. So they really could just continue to pick and roll and to get Robinson on Paolo or Robinson on Bain or anybody they really want to attack, because pretty much anybody can get to the rim on Duncan Robinson. So that right there, I think, is something that the Magic could look to in the next game and be like, okay, like we kind of didn't really focus on that. They did a much better job in this one. Cade did, of going up against the mismatch of Desmond Bain. Like, Desmond is not tall enough to really be able to affect Desmond to affect Cade's shot in any way. Obviously, Bane is solid enough that he's not going to get back down, but it just Cade is just too tall for him. So Cade really took advantage of that matchup in this one, going 5 of 8 against Desmond, and that I think is the was really what started to get Cade going. And really, it was a 3 point shot. Like if we're honest with ourselves, both teams shot it way better than they normally have so far in the series, and they did in the regular season. So is that going to happen again? I don't know. This felt like an offensive explosion by both teams in some way, but I think that's not something that both teams could hang their hat on. Cade hitting whatever it was, 5 of 6 or whatever from three at one point. That's not something that he's going to do again. So the Magic don't need to overreact on it. Still go into the screens, make sure he stays out of the paint, and still try to turn him over. Which is interesting because he didn't turn the ball over as much in this one because he was a scorer. He, I guess, decided that if he's going to go home, he's going to go home on his terms, and he's going to make sure to do everything he can and shoot the ball as much as possible. And I think this would be something that the Magic should do. I love love the game plan. Have him score. If he scores 50, let him score 50. Really, let's just make him work harder for it. And I think that was the part that didn't happen as much. And make sure to have Paolo switch off on him and just body him, post him up, continue to get him in different actions. If we're gonna do that, then have him come off of screens with Desmond. Like, let's make him work on the defensive end and the offensive end so that we can hopefully tire him out so he doesn't have his legs, so he's not able to score 50 on us. But either way, I'd rather him really do a really big scoring game as opposed to getting these other guys the ball. Now they haven't really been hot from the three. Like Duncan Robinson hit a couple. They hit a few 3 pointers in this last game. But again, the team isn't a 3 point shooting team, and they don't hunt the threes. Neither do the Magic really. So again, I don't see any schematic or philosophical difference that they came up with in last game. Asar Thompson was just running around. He was being our Jalen basically, and or being their Jalen, and that's just what happened. I feel it was just that little 0.5% more energy that they did. We came out a little too flat, as has happened too often in the season. But again, I got to give them credit. They could have decided to pack it in and be like, all right, we got another one at home. They were down by 16, 17 at one point in the second half, and they could have, and the Magic have often this year, just decided to punt the rest of the game and just, all right, we're not going to have the energy. But to give them credit, they were able to bring it down to 2 at one point and bring it down to 3 points all the way with about a minute left in the game. So excellent game from Paolo. Like we'll talk about each person's game in just a second, but Paolo, outstanding. If Paolo would have played like this in game two, I think the Magic win game two because nobody on the team was able to get it going at all in game two. So if we get another game like this from Paolo in Orlando, I think the Magic are going to win because it just everybody's going to ride that energy. And Jalen played pretty well in this one. Wendell didn't do as much, but again, he's doing a pretty good job on Jalen still, on Jalen Duran. Duran really didn't have that much of an offensive game again. Didn't even have a double double again. So I really think that Wendell is doing everything he can, and he's doing an excellent job on it. So let's go through the box score so that we can see what happened in this game. So if we look at it, Jamal Cain was the one that ended up getting the start in this one. They matched up differently a little bit, as I mentioned. They were able, the Pistons, to get Desmond on Cade a lot more. I don't know if that was something that they were able to do because Franz wasn't there, but either way, they did a better job on their end of getting Desmond on Cade. So Jamal Cain didn't really have that much of an effect on the defensive end against Cade. So I guess in that way, I was hoping that if we had Jamal start, that he would be able to give us a little bit on the offensive end, but mostly be able to do what he can on the defensive end against Cade, since he had such a great game in game four against Cade. Now, I don't know if you end up starting Jamal again. That could be something that we do now that we're going home as a role player. Normally, role players play better at home, so maybe we'll have the same kind of game that we did in game 4 and really in game 3 from Jamal. So I don't know if that's something that the Magic will be looking to, or will they end up just switching AB in there and kind of going with the lineup that they did done multiple times this year and having AB be with Jalen and with Desmond since AB played so well in game 4 or in game 5, excuse me. So we'll see. We'll see about that. But Jamal in 24 minutes of action, 104 from the field, 0 of 1 from 3, 3 of 7 from the free throw line, which was odd. So I don't know if it was just him being home, just kind of messed him up a little bit. 4 rebounds, 1 assist, no steals, no blocks, 1 turnover for 5 points with a -9 plus minus in this one. And again, only a 7-point loss. So that that matchup or that his time on the court wasn't as beneficial as what it had been before. To give Jamal a grade in this one, I'd really say C, C minus. Not a lot came out from him. His role changed, right? If you were to listen to a couple videos ago, he had gotten a much better grade because I mentioned that his role just what it was. He was just like that extra body to throw at Cade throughout the course of the game. So this one, how all of a sudden being a starter, his role was going to be different. So he really didn't have that much of an impact in this game. So that's why I give it a C or C minus. Paolo in 40 minutes of action, 17 of 31 from the field, 6 of 11, 6 of 11 from 3. Both are surprising, the 6 and the 11, but 5 of 12 from the free throw line, 9 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals, 6 turnovers for his 45 points. So he was a plus minus of 0, the neutral in plus minus. Now, that's the pros and the cons of when you throw one guy to kind of do everything in this game. Now, I'm not entirely sure why Paolo felt he had to do it all by himself. It felt like Desmond did get a good amount of shots. He was second on the team in shots, but it just felt a lot more that Paolo at least had the matchups and he was doing a much better job. And for some reason, there was a lot more spacing for him. Now, that could be just because Desmond had done such a great job in the games 3 and 4 to shoot and kind of get guys, okay, like we can't just leave Desmond alone because he's going to knock down those threes. That might have been the case, but I'm surprised that Detroit didn't hedge a little bit more with no Franz on the court. But either way, Paolo, great game, 45 points. Now, the 6 turnovers is something that, of course, we would rather have back and not have as many turnovers. But again, when you're basically the hub and you're the facilitator and you're the everything on the offense end, sometimes you are going to have a lot of turnovers, and that just is the way it is. Now, the 6 of 11 from 3 is what I would circle. That's why a lot of the advanced analytics, let's say, and all the people say that, oh, playoff P or playoff Paolo is kind of an anomaly because his jump shot is so much better in the playoffs versus in the regular season. Now, that might just be because it's a small sample size, but either way, 6 of 11 from 3 is great. Hopefully he doesn't have to shoot 11 3-pointers in the next one and he's not having to make 6 3-pointers just for us to even be in the game. So I hope he gets back to being a little bit more in the paint as he had been and driving. If he keeps getting blocked, he keeps getting blocked. Like that's the thing. That's fine because they're blocking it out of bounds. So that's not a turnover. It's a shot attempt, and it's still him controlling the game in a certain way, right? So 45 points for Paolo. Really great game. But 1 rebound away from a double double, a few assists away from a triple double. So incredible game for Paolo. Hopefully, we're able to get this type of energy. I don't need the scoring necessarily because I think other guys are going to score better at home. But if he needs to score 45 points again, we know it's in him and we know he can do it. So great game for Paolo. If I grade Paolo, this would be an A. Even with the turnovers, this is an A because, again, what your role was going to be. The role was for him to be the scorer, and he scored in this game. Wendell Carter in 34 minutes of action, 2 of 4 from the field, 1 of 3 from 3, 4 of 4 from the free throw line, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, 3 blocks, and 5 personal fouls. So Wendell led the league in fouls, so that is just kind of what it is. He had 9 points in this game, still a +6, so he still had a positive impact on this game, even with all the fouls, and 30 he still was able to play 34 minutes. So he did a good job of being judicious, at least with the fouls. Now, 9 points. There were a lot of times I felt that he didn't get the ball when The defender came up and the Magic were driving, so he easily could have had another 4 or 6 points. So hopefully the Magic are able to use that to their advantage and use the defensive aggression of the Pistons against them, because there's a lot of times where they're over helping and the Magic can easily just dump it off. But that's fine. That again could be something hopefully that they're watching on the video and they're able to take advantage of in game six. So Wendell, a good game in this one. I'd say the way he's been playing, a C, but I would say, especially because he only had 4 rebounds in this one, but B minus I think would be where I would go on, because again, Jalen Duren didn't really have a great game, and that's kind of Wendell's job. Wendell's job is to make sure that Jalen Duren doesn't start to go off, and the Magic are able to just have one guy be their focal point of their offense. Desmond Bain in 34 minutes, 6 of 15 from the field, 4 of 10 from three, 2 of 2 from the free throw line, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 3 steals, 2 turnovers for his 18 points with a -2 plus minus. So again, I don't know if this is why Desmond ended up not having such a great offensive game, but he was getting worked on the defensive end. 5 of 8 from Cade with him guarding him, so it was really starting to wear a little bit on Desmond. Now Desmond's a warrior. We know he's going to continue to come back strong. Another 10 3-point attempts. This is perfect. He needs to be doing this exact thing for the Magic, and if he gets those again, the Magic are going to win. Like I have no doubt. If the Magic play like this from, let's say, 7 minutes in the first quarter all the way to the rest of the game, I think that the Magic really are going to win this game. They gave up way too many offensive rebounds and free throw opportunities. The whistle was ridiculous at the beginning of the game. It evened out over the course of the game. Let's be honest. Let's be fair. But the first few minutes, it was crazy. It was ticky tacks, especially the way this series has been officiated. It was ridiculous. Anyway, Desmond, 6 of 15. So we look at it. He's only 2 of 5 from 2-point range. So it's something that Desmond really has been struggling with a little bit in this series, that hopefully he's able to turn the corner, just give us one big Desmond game, because Desmond isn't going to have great games every game. That's not what really, like, again, he's been our floor raiser for the season, but he's not going to be scoring 30 points a game very often. So let's hope that this next game is going to be one of those. And if he comes up with 30 points, Paolo's at late 20s, early 30s, the Magic are going to win this game. Like it's just the way it is. The defense has been focused. The defense is gonna to come to play. They don't have Franz. I get it, but still, I think they will be able to cobble together enough defense on Cade to be able to slow him down a little bit more. So we'll see how that goes for the rest of the series there. To grade Desmond's game, for me, Desmond had a B minus type game. I think he did a lot of good things, but fortunately he was getting worked on the defensive end, and he was doing all he can, but he just didn't have as much impact on the defensive end for the Magic to be victorious in this one. Jalen in 37 minutes of action, 4 of 9 from the field, 2 of 5 from three, 0 of 1 from the free throw line, 2 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals, 1 turnover for his 10 points, and a -4 plus minus, which is not normal for a Jalen game. Now, I think Jalen played a very controlled game in this one. Like he did a really good job of shooting, again, kind of as the last option, or the ball swung to him from Paolo or from Desmond, and he shot with confidence. 2 of 5 from 3-point range. He did a really good job. I think if we get it again, if we get a game from Jalen like this, I think this is going to be a very he'll have more than 10. I suspect, if we're honest with ourselves. Like Jalen is going to really come out amped, especially with the home crowd behind him in this next one. Jalen will be fine. This is a much better game than he played the game before. So I really think that even though his plus minus wasn't, the ideal necessarily, he played within himself. This is the type of game we want from Jalen. 3 steals, hit his shots. He was nice and settled for his 3-point shots, and none of them were off the dribble. He did a really good job for Jalen. To give Jalen a grade in this one, I think a solid B, because I really think that if we get games like this from Jalen, controlled on the offensive end, a little more chaotic on the defensive end, then I think he'll do a good enough job that his plus minus is going to be way higher in the next one. AB in 39 minutes, 7 of 12 from the field, 4 of 6 from 3, which was huge. 1 of 2 from the free throw line, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, 3 turnovers for his 19 points, and also a -4 when he was on the court. Now, the good and the bad of AB. Like, this is why at times we don't want AB the one controlling the ball, because he has a tendency and has had a tendency, especially earlier in the year, to turn the ball over. He had a one turnover, like Paolo had the spin on Duncan Robinson, and AB just led him a little too far. Those are fine. Like, that's one of those that it stinks that he didn't make the pass, and Paolo was rolling to the basket, everything that we always wanted, posting up, spin, running to the basket. He just unfortunately didn't get the ball, and but that was a turnover from AB. And then there was a couple that were just dribbling issues, and those are the ones that are frustrating. But again, AB had a great game, so I'm not going to take anything from that. But you just want to hope that he's able to minimize the turnovers, because that's again why we lost this game. I felt free throws and turnovers. Really, those are the only two reasons. If we would have had a few fewer turnovers and more shots at the basket, or at least free throw opportunities, I think the Magic still would have been able to at least make it a closer game and get them to sweat a little bit more. But we did a really good job of doing that. No complaints. But AB, if I'm going to give AB a grade, AB played a B+ game. If without the turnovers, then for me, it's A- B+ would be the grade for AB, just because it was a really good game. This is why maybe we end up starting him, because he hadn't shown this for the whole period since he's been back from injury. And if he's going to continue to play like this, then we plug him into the starting lineup, and hopefully it'll be harder for them to switch him off of Cade on the defensive end. And then maybe we have him on Cade a little bit more instead of Desmond on Cade. Tristan in 16 minutes of action, 1 of 4 from the field, 0 of 2 from 3, 1 of 2 from the free throw line, 3 rebounds, and that's it basically for his 3 points. Now, -9 for Tristan. I think it's the athleticism is a little too much in this game. Like, right now in this series, he's not going to really be giving much impact, unfortunately. Like, he's just he seems a steps too slow, and it's affecting his game now. What he can do, and he's done a couple times, is to back in, and be able to hit like that little hook that he does, especially if we're hunting Robinson, or if Herter ends up playing. Like, that could be who he can play against. Other than that, Asar Thompson's too fast and too long. Like, Tobias is too big. Like, there's a lot of mismatches in this one for Tristan, and Tristan is just not able to really have a huge impact in this game. So for me, C- in this one. He's just not able to stay in front of too many people as well. Again, he can play against Robinson, he can play against Herter, he can play against Javante Green. Like, there's the guys that he can play against. He's just not really being matched up against them and not being able to take advantage of them. So that is what it is. And lastly, Goga. So the Magic went with only 8 guys that played in this one, with Franz being out. So we'll see if in Orlando they're able to open up the bench a little bit more and give maybe Jet an opportunity, just because role player at home tend to play a little bit better. So Goga in this one, 13 minutes of action, 0 of 1 from the field, 1 rebound, 2 blocks. So that's the positive of Goga. No points, -13 with him on the court. So he's by far the most in the minus category with him on the court. So are the Magic going to possibly look at going into bringing in Mo a little bit for some more offense? They'd have to be judicious on when they do it. I think maybe it wouldn't be a bad opportunity for Mo, because then what you're going to have Beef Stew he's not an offensive threat really. So if you pair those minutes, then possibly we'll be able to do something a little better. So we'll see if Mosley ends up deciding to do that in this one. So the final numbers: 48% from the field is pretty good for the Magic. 45% from 3, very good for the Magic. Just the 53% from the free throw line. 14 missed free throws. Lose by 7, miss 14 free throws. It's right there. 8 offensive rebounds, 33 total rebounds in this one. So they got out rebounded, they got outworked in the hustle plays, which is something that the Magic have been so good at so far this series that it's a bit disappointing. But again, it's one game. If they rally that, the fans are going to be behind them in the next one. Hopefully, they're able to pick up all of that. 21 assists, 12 steals is not bad as well. Again, the Magic are doing a good job of getting their hands in the cookie jar, and the 16 turnovers. So they lost they still won the battle, but it was only a 17-16 advantage in that one. But giving up 16 offensive rebounds, getting out rebounded 49-33, all not great. But yeah, only giving up 5 block shots in this one. That was good. But if we look real quick at their team, really, other than Asar Thompson getting the 15 rebounds, just kind of diving in there and using his athleticism. Not a lot going on for their other team. Duran only a 12-9. Duncan Robinson 12. He had 3 3-pointers, so that's that. But Cade's unlikely to go 5 of 8 from 3 again. So again, keep going with what you've been doing this whole time. Don't all of a sudden go overreact and now go over the screen for Cade. We want him to be shooting threes. Let him shoot the three. That's something that we're not going to really have too much concern over. Really, that's fine. Let him shoot the three. He doesn't need to. He doesn't really need to be that guy that we're worried about being, a sharpshooter or a sniper. So keep going into the screens. Make sure you go into the screens. Make him work for everything. Now, I guess you could say that us going under the screens is not making him work, but I'd rather have him shooting threes because other than him going into the paint and shooting over our guys, especially Desmond and Jamal and some other guys. So now looking forward to game 6. Like if we look a little bit at who guarded him, we're going to need another starter for Franz. Franz isn't going to play in this one, right? So we should just have it in our heads. Franz is not playing the rest of this series. So maybe he can come back next series if the Magic make it there. So who are we going to let play against Cade? So if we look at it, like I mentioned, Desmond was 5 of 8 against him. AB was 0 of 1 against him. And AB had the most time on him, and Cade only shot 1 shot. So that right there kind of gives him the bump on there. Jamal, Cade was 2 of 3 against Jamal in the time that they played, and against Jalen, he was 2 of 2. Cade was, and Tristan, he was 3 of 4 against Tristan. So again, really, Tristan has a good amount of size. I think is the best thing about that matchup for Tristan. But the speed is just one of those that it's going to be harder. Now, AB against Cade Cunningham, 1 of 1, so he really didn't take too much advantage of that matchup. He still was able to do a good job defensively, and that's really all that matters. Jamal Cain was 1 of 2 against him. Who else we got that could start? And Tristan was 0 of 1 against Cade. So the Magic really didn't go to great lengths, as I mentioned before, to really try to focus on making sure that Cade was in all the actions, just because we want him to continue to work on the defensive end. Now, if we look at all the people, so Paolo was matched up on him the most, and Paolo he was 3 of 7 against him. And other than that, not too much more. And I think that's one of those things that we want to try to make sure that we get Cade into actions and making sure that he's playing on the defensive end, because he's going to do a lot of work on the offensive end. We already know that, but if we can get him to work on the defensive end and continue to struggle a little bit on there, I think that's for me the biggest thing that we can get him tired. We can get his big bodies. If we get Paolo on him again, I like that. We get body him up. Just take a little bit of energy away from him. If it's a video game and you have the energy bar, we want to start creeping it little by little and just pounding on him on the defensive end, making him work on the defensive end. I think would really do a lot of wonders for the Magic when it comes to hopefully being able to slow him down a little bit on the defensive end when the Magic are on defense. So I think that's something that we should look at. Looking at the numbers there, I would switch it up and have AB start in this one. It would really hurt the bench, but if we're only going to be playing 8 guys, really, Jamal's going to get action on there. And again, role players normally play better at home, so Hopefully Tristan can get a couple shots to go down. Hopefully Jamal can actually get that energy back. I'm not saying he's going to dunk on people like he did in game 4, but being able to sneak around and be able to have a few cuts back door on the baseline for a couple easy baskets to get him going. I think these are all little things the Magic could do. Offensively, we don't really run that many plays, so it kind of is what it is. And if we get another game like that from Paolo, I think we're going to win. I don't think we need that kind of offensive game from Paolo as long as we're spreading it around. Wendell needs a few more touches to get Duran possibly in foul trouble. The way the whistles went in the last game, Duran got the first touch, and there was an immediate foul on Wendell. Let's flip that script. Give Wendell the ball early on in the game. Let's see what he can do against Duran, and again, get Duran psychologically thinking that okay, like I can't touch the guy, and then maybe that just gets him out of the game a little bit sooner. I'd rather have Beef Stew. I know Beef Stew is a menace a little bit on the defensive end at times, but he's too energetic. So the Magic should be looking at how they can again use the Pistons defensive uh, energy against them, because they end up over rotating a lot of the times. They end up over helping far too often. If the Magic are patient and are able to get the ball in the interior a little bit more, get some of the interior passing, if they're able to get that a little sharper, then they'll be able to get nice easy layups, because the Pistons are just focused on trying to get that block shot, which is good for the Pistons, but I think it could be good for the Magic as well if they focus their energy and making sure that they have better interior passing, or just have a good pump fake and watch the guys fly in the air, especially like a guy like Beef Stew or Duran, because Duran's really not that great on the defensive end, and I think Wendell can really attack him as he has in different times in this series. So I think we try to get Wendell going a little bit more. Jalen, if he plays the same game, I think we win. Desmond, if he's able to be a little more efficient from 2-point range, we win. We hit our free throws, we win. We don't turn the ball over. Basically, have the same game plan as we did in games 3 and games 4 and game 1. To be honest, just have the same game plan with the energy from the crowd in Orlando, and really the Pistons not doing anything philosophically or schematically or doing anything really of difference other than making sure they got a good matchup for Cade by switching Desmond onto him. Other than that, they really didn't do anything special for the Magic to be worried like, oh crap, like we gotta now what's our chess move to counter their chess move. Luckily Bickerstaff and Mosley play checkers. They don't always play chess. So I think that's good for us in the end. And we just need to ramp up our energy just a little bit more on there. They're going to fight. They're going to scrap. They're going to claw and do everything as their coaches said in different interviews. So that just means the Magic have to do the same. And the Magic really want to win this game. Like they can win in game 7. We've seen them win in game 1, and they've been close in every one of the Detroit games or the games in Detroit. So the Magic can win game 7, but it'd be real nice to win in game 6, because then that gets the pressure off. That also gives hopefully Franz a little bit more time before the next series to rest, and that just gets us into the second round for the first time since 2010. So you let me know what adjustments you would make for the Magic. Drop it below. Who do you think should start? If it's AB, Tristan, or Jamal, drop that down, that comment down there as well. So do the normal YouTube things, like, share, and if you want to do so, hit that subscribe so you don't miss out on any content that I produce. If you're an audio podcast listener, make sure to rate the show 5 stars and share it with someone, because it really helps the show grow. So here we go. Blackout in Orlando, game 6. Go out there and really have a good time. Be loud. Bring that energy, Orlando, for the Magic. So I want to thank you very much for clicking on this video and spending a little bit of time talking Magic with me. I hope you're having a great day.